All right. So let me just start the Instagram because it takes a second to go live with Instagram. Just want to make sure I click it. All right. Okay, so we're in business now. It's your boy Puffinstein, aka Spankdog at YouTube. Like, comment, share, subscribe. You already know. BC Spankdog at Instagram. Robert Lopez at Facebook. Let's get into it. All right. So we're gonna jump right into one of the topics I wanted to cover more importantly than some of the others. Um, it's not that I don't have love for the police. It's that, you know, just to be straight up honest, um, I think that our state and our government, because it's across the nation, probably global, um, that they don't vet the officer well enough, or they're vetting him about the wrong things. What they need to find out is if he would his temper, his, how angry and how quick he'll get angry. you know um there's things wrong with a lot of things. I'm not singling out the boys, but at the end of it all, I know really good cops. I mean, like, amazing cops. And you know what I'm gonna do too, because I seen a video the other day where the cop put his life on the line for a person. It was an absolute stranger. So I just want people to know that don't think that I'm oblivious to that fact, that there are cops that are just amazing, and it stinks that there's almost two kinds of cops that are polar opposite. There's the one that would do something, and then there's the one that's looking at him like, why would you do that? And the ones that are like, why would you do that? They need to speak up. And this is what this is about. All right, so there's a man and he's in a store, and pretty much if you end up on the scene, even if somebody called you about the man, you're kind of in the dark about what's going on. So speculations and assumptions are just that. They're not valid. They have no validity. You know, for you to speculate and then assert your speculation as truth is the kind of thing that a cop shouldn't, demonstrate. So I'm gonna play the clip for you guys right now, and you guys can tell me what you think. All right, I'm gonna let you guys be the judge. I didn't see the whole thing, so I also I don't judge. Period. I try not to, but you guys interpret it yourselves for a second.
Hey, so why were you inside his car? You weren't inside his car?
Now, as clear as day, you guys can see cops find missing Alzheimer patient. Now, when I'm just gonna set it up real quick. What you guys are about to hear happen, like what you're gonna hear happens, it's ridiculous. And like I said, I know some are out there trying to do good for sure, but this guy is absolutely suspect as far as being a policeman, and I don't know if he should be a policeman. Um, there's a chance he's no longer a policeman. And I'm just gonna let it rock because I want to take in 100% what happened before I even start to get on the officer. Because even though I seen the beginning, I know that it's gonna go bad. I still don't want to speculate like he did.
Do you take any kind of medication or something? No, your pupils are very, very, very tiny, pinpointed. Can you look up in the air for me? Go ahead and turn up, put your hands behind your back for me. You got cocaine in your nose. Yeah, that's a lie. That's a lie.
See, when I say I don't know, because I seen up to the part where he says he has cocaine in his nose. Now I couldn't see if the man had anything that looked like powder on his nose, but there are other reasons why that could be there, especially if you're a man that's incoherent. You know, if let's say if the guy's coherent, it's more likely that it's a substance, but even then you don't speculate. But to be fair to the officer, there's a chance he's oblivious to the fact that the guy has Alzheimer's. But that's why you cogelo suave, take it easy.
The state of Tennessee issued a silver alert after a veteran with Alzheimer's went missing. Everyone looking for him was overjoyed when they found out that he was found by police in neighboring Guthrie, Kentucky.
We have an update for you tonight. A missing Clarksville man is now safe and sound. That's according to the TBI. Investigators say 61-year-old George Henderson was found in Kentucky.
Until they found out that the Guthrie police found him because they assaulted him, punched him, knocked him unconscious.
Let go of my hand, goddammit. Let go of my hand, goddammit. You understand me? Put your...
Okay, now, so much for speculating. My speculation has just been validated. Yes, already. I'm a press play, but already you could tell that, in my opinion, he shouldn't be on the police force. This ain't even about just one mistake. He handled it abruptly, horribly, speculative. I mean, every mistake an officer could make, he made. That's an old man with Alzheimer's, and I don't know if you guys heard it, but he's ex-military. He served his country, and I'm pretty sure that they wouldn't have brought it up if it was a dishonorable discharge or anything worse.
Hands behind your back.
And even after they realized that they had an innocent Alzheimer's patient who's a decorated veteran, they remained defiant in an absolutely disgusting display.
Let me add decorated. You guys know what decorated means, right? That means he ain't just your average Marine, your average Navy SEAL, your average military guy. That means he went in. And listen to again how the lawyer, because my man right here, I believe, is a lawyer. First of all, another thing too, because we got to keep it 100. I'm gonna start dropping the links of the people that I cover and react to. So right now we're watching the civil rights lawyer. I'm already subscribed. I just hit him with the thumbs up, and you'll be able to find his link in my description. I'm gonna copy it now while I'm here. All right. So I want to rewind it again because he gets mad, the lawyer, and with good reason. Not mad like mad in a bad way. You know, he's passionate about this. You know what I'm saying? So I think I went back far enough. Let me go back another little notch and watch what the civil rights lawyer says.
And even after they realized that they had an...
I want you guys to know too, when I react to something, it's not just a reaction. This is stuff I believe in. It's an echo. I'm echoing what they said. I'm trying to get their message further. You know, it's something I'm passionate about. So just know that, man. Like, if you see this and people don't know what's going on, you know, there's nothing wrong with letting them see this man's video.
Innocent Alzheimer's patient who's a decorated veteran They remain defiant in an absolutely disgusting display of unconstitutional, tyrannical behavior by local government.
And Tracy, police tell us the officer handled the matter in the way he was trained and in accordance to department policy.
This is about what happened to a man named George Henderson, who, after 29 years of military service and 6 overseas deployments, he retired from the military.
He was on deployment 6 times. I don't know if that's covers 6 tours, you know, but he was deployed 6 times. And look at him right there. He's clean cut. You know, maybe if he looked that way when the cops found him, he wouldn't have been so stereotypical. But you, like I said, man, you can't judge a book by its cover. Rarely can you. Once in a rare blue moon, you'll see somebody that looks what you would consider, you know, dangerous or something. And 5 out of 6 times, I would say maybe 9 out of 10 times, you're wrong. The dude might be the best person on the planet. So when they were going to bodega or whatever, he looks like disheveled a little bit. But mind you, he has Alzheimer's. You're not gonna, if you're not, you need to be tended to, when depending on the severity of it. So he's not gonna look tidy if you know, he's sick. You know what I'm saying? So when the cop stumbles upon him in the bodega, I think he got a call actually. The way he looks right off the back, he thinks he's like a bum or something. Meanwhile, he doesn't even realize he's in front of a man that fought for his freedom, and he treats him like an animal.
Received head injuries and PTSD from combat, and it began to worsen. Since leaving military service in 2018.
What's even worse is the Alzheimer's. Is this he just stated, if my interpretation is correctly, that the Alzheimer's that the man has was onset by trauma that he received while fighting for his country. And I'm gonna give it a little rewind and see if I interpreted that correctly.
He received head injuries and PTSD from named George Henderson, who, after 29 years of military service and 6 overseas deployments, he retired from the military. He received head injuries and PTSD from combat, and it began to worsen. Since leaving military.
Okay, now I had it right. Now listen, the qualified immunity thing, Trump's trying to do the blanket, like where like anybody that's tied into law enforcement has qualified immunity. If I'm correct, always double check me. I'm not perfect, you know, but if they're already doing stuff like this, imagine if you give them even more power where they know they won't be prosecuted even if they commit a crime.
Military service in 2018, George Henderson has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, and it has gradually worsened over time. That brings us to December 6th this year at around 2 p.m. Henderson, 61 years old, retired Master Sergeant, just disappears from his home in Clarksville, Tennessee. Temperatures were dipping below freezing that night, and the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation launched a silver alert to help Henderson's distressed family locate him. The silver alert went out around 4 p.m. Then the sun set, temperatures dropped to 25 degrees, and police and his family were desperate to find him. And finally, at about 10:16 p.m., Henderson was found wandering around an Exxon gas station over 10 miles away in Guthrie, Kentucky, just over.
He's a master sergeant. If I'm not incorrect, if I'm right rather, that's a high status. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna look it up. It's not Master Chief like Halo. Master Sergeant, he said, I think. All right, give me 1 second. Is Master Sergeant a high rank in the military? Oh, wow. All right, listen to this, people. Yes, a Master Sergeant is considered a high rank in the military, as it is a senior non-commissioned officer rank. signifying a high level of experience and leadership with an enlisted force. It usually sits above a staff sergeant and below a senior master sergeant or equivalent rank depending on the branch. He's high up there. He was putting in work while he was in the military, and he received promotions, I believe, while he was in the military. You know, I mean, by his rank, of course.
The state line. Fortunately, police found him. Or is that unfortunately? Apparently, this is what happened. The gas station attendant saw Mr. Henderson getting into the attendant's car, and the attendant had to, quote, forcibly remove him from his car before hitting a panic button to alert law enforcement. Officer Jay Pritchett with the Guthrie Police Department arrived to save the day, and he approached Henderson.
You know what it is? He couldn't believe that, well, from what he heard in the report, because like I said, I want to be fair. The man is on a call, so he might be a little. Listen, you shouldn't be law enforcement if you get shook up easy. You know, you should. You know. So anyway, he might have a reason to be leery because he got the call. He don't know this man, but for you to jump to the conclusion that he did, it's crazy. And it's gotta stop. Like, you gotta stop believing your own speculation. How about you go with your heart for once? How about you have a heart for once? How about you say it's not that deep? How about you say, maybe I'm wrong? I've seen officers look like they'd rather lose their life than admit they're wrong.
Inside the gas station, here's the footage of that encounter.
How's it going, brother? How you doing? Good. Got a call about you assaulting somebody? What happened with that?
I work with these guys.
Yeah. Was it him you pushed? Who did you push?
Who did I push? I pushed the melon from back.
You pushed what?
I don't know what you're looking for me.
Keep in mind from now on, especially if anybody sees this that's law enforcement, just because a person can't formulate a sentence doesn't mean that he's a crackhead.
And what I do is I go out there and tell them Miller bills and all that shit. You wanna leave something about me? You can call some people. I ain't doing nothing. I ain't trying to steal nothing.
Okay. You good? You got any guns or knives on you or anything?
No.
Just take your hand out of your pocket.
No, I don't have no guns.
Take your hands out of your pocket.
Let me get you the gun. I don't have no guns.
Okay, turn around for me. All right, turn. Give me your hands. Where do you live at? Walk up here. Yeah, walk up here to this counter with me. Lean up on that counter up here for me, okay?
The crazy thing is that the officer asks him, where does he live at? He don't know where he lives at. And that's because of the Alzheimer's.
We'll figure out what's going on. Let me talk to this other guy.
Live in this area.
I got you. Go over and sit up next to that counter. We'll talk to him real quick. What's going on? He's getting in your car? What did he say? So he was attempting to take your vehicle. Okay. Hey, so why were you inside his car?
I wasn't inside.
You weren't inside his car?
This proves that if the man isn't like, you know, if you encounter somebody, you might want to think maybe he's having some sort of medical trauma before you think he's some sort of Charles Manson.
Yes, I was.
You were inside of his car?
He gave me a climber. He told me to come over
got
I
you.
was judging what he had on.
He's not even coherent. He can't provide him with real information. He's lucky if he puts a thought together like one every 3 sentences. You know, I don't know if they're trained to recognize that a person might be having a medical issue instead of a criminal issue, but part of me wants to say, like, you know, the cop was being cool at first, but I know what's coming. And I don't think you guys, if you saw the beginning, you know what's coming. But that's why I bite my tongue on defending the officer at all, because it's about to get real not cool, and it's because of the person I'm not gonna defend.
All the stuff that he needed to find me. And
I understand the officer's human and he makes mistakes, you know, but you gotta be on your extra locked in, you know, when you sign up for certain things.
and that person so you can come through.
I got you. Okay.
I ain't trying to do anything.
I understand.
So you can
Do you take any kind of medication or something? No, your pupils are very, very, very tiny, pinpointed. Can you look up in the air for me?
I don't drink. I don't drug.
Go ahead and turn around and put your hands behind your back for me. You got cocaine in your nose.
Man, that's a lie. That's a lie.
Now, he believed his own speculation and it was inaccurate. Oh, well, you know what? Let's keep watching, because there's times where I've stuck my foot in my mouth. Let's see if by any chance there was truth to what the officer said.
Let go of my hand, goddammit. You understand me? Put your hands behind your back. Don't you move. Todd, send me units. I'm fighting one. Give me your hands.
Hi, yes, 704-714. Probably 2 need you at the high road.
Give me your hand.
That's 10-4. I get some information on that.
704, he was there for a guy that had gone into the gas station there and was trying to get into people's cars. He advised that he's 5'1".
10-4.
Officer Pritchett wrote in his arrest report that Henderson had grabbed his arm and bit it, and that's why force was used. But what does the body cam footage show? We can't really tell what happens at the very beginning, but we can see the punch that rendered Mr. Henderson unconscious, and we can see that it was completely unjustified. Why? Because Henderson is already on the ground, face down. We can 100% say that he was not.
This is why you didn't hear me defend the officer
Biting the police officer's arm at that moment. Perhaps he did it 10 seconds earlier. We can't down. We can when force was used. But
all right, I'm gonna rewind it a little bit. He's knocked out.
10-4.
Said he bit him? I missed that.
I get some information on that.
What is that? Why?
I don't drug.
Go ahead and turn around and put your hands behind your back for me. You got cocaine in your nose.
Man, that's a lie.
Let go of my hand, goddammit. You understand me? Put your hands behind your back.
Wow, that was quick. Oh man. You know, to be fair, you can't see much, so I would say viewer discretion advised. But just because it's it's heart wrenching, you know what I'm saying. But thank God you can't see any force or impact hardly. You definitely know that the officer knocked him out. You definitely know that it's a bad move on his part. And I said earlier, everybody makes mistakes, but then there's things that are different. I want to say everybody makes mistakes, but I don't want to say it right now. That's not the kind of mistake you make. You're supposed to be guarding people, man. Like something this somewhere somebody is being, in need of real help. It's being maybe, kidnapped or something like that. Like and you're over here knocking out a highly decorated military veteran.
Don't you move.
Oh man, you should not have qualified immunity, in my opinion. He shouldn't be a cop, in my opinion.
Todd, send me units. I'm 5-1.
And to be fair, I know officers that would not have handled this that way. So all officers are not bad. I literally know officers that would have treated that man good until they were certain that he was not right. You get what I mean? And they would have been able to determine that he had Alzheimer's and he maybe wasn't a criminal and he could be having a medical problem. This man should not be law enforcement, in my opinion. Imagine if that's your father. Imagine if that's your father.
Sorry, 704-714, Power 2 needs you at the high road.
Imagine if that's your brother, your son.
That's 10-4. I get some information on
And
that.
he had Alzheimer's. He wandered into the store by accident. You don't even know where he's at.
704, he was there for a guy that had gone into the gas station there and was trying to get into people's cars. He advised that he's 5'1".
The officer has the responsibility of determining whether it's a medical situation or a criminal situation. And I'm almost certain you could fact check that.
10-4.
Officer Pritchett wrote in his arrest report that Henderson had grabbed his arm and bit it, and that's why force was used. But what does the body cam footage show? We can't really tell what happens at the very beginning, but we can see the punch that rendered Mr. Henderson unconscious.
I don't know if that's in a person's. I don't know if that's in a person who has Alzheimer's. I don't know if that's symptomatic of a person with Alzheimer's. Like, I don't know if one of the symptoms is getting violent. So as far as whether the man with Alzheimer's bit the officer, I'm not saying he didn't. And if he should have took the bite and not have hit him back, or I can't say. That's why, I try not to dive in like that. I still think the officer's wrong, but if it's hard for the officer to deduce that the man not only has Alzheimer's, but why he bit him, if he bit him. But he could have also made up that lie because he thought he was in trouble. I don't know which one, But I'll tell you this much. All right, let's say hypothetically the man with Alzheimer's bit him. He's handled the situation absolutely disgustingly up until then.
Conscious. this. And we can see that it was completely unjustified. Why? Because Henderson is already on the ground, face down. We can 100% say that he was not biting the police officer's arm at that moment.
At that moment.
Perhaps he did it 10 seconds earlier. We can't see that.
And how
but
good
he's on
could
the
he-
ground, clearly under control.
And let me tell you something. How good could he have got him on the arm with? Because you could see that he has it. I think he has a full length jacket on. I'm not sure, but if he had a full length jacket on and stuff, like, you know, it don't. The math ain't mathing.
By the officer at this point, and out of nowhere, the officer pulls back his right arm and just punches Mr. Henderson right in the back of the head. And then after already punching him, as if to play for the body cam and witnesses, he yells at Mr. Henderson to stop holding his arm. We can see that that is a lie because we see both of the officer's hands.
Okay, we've now established the line, and it's a lawyer stating it. So a lawyer is stating that the stop holding my arm is false. It's a fabrication because he's worried about getting in trouble, most likely. Let's hear that again.
The head. And then after already punching him, as if to play for the body cam and witnesses, he yells at Mr. Henderson to stop holding his arm. We can see that that is a lie because we see both of the officer's hands at that moment, and we can see that they're free.
Let go of my hand, goddammit. Let go of my hand, goddammit.
And not being held by Mr. Henderson, who, ever since that punch to the rear of his head, had been unconscious and would remain so for about 30 seconds. So Henderson suffered a laceration behind his right ear that required stitches. And as he was being treated by EMTs at the scene, Officer Pritchett and other responding officers at the scene were advised by dispatch that Henderson was the subject of this missing person silver alert. We had no
Uh-oh. Get ready. They're going to start running around like chickens with their heads cut off.
knowledge of Mr. Henderson's silver alert, Guthrie Police Chief Dean Blumel told Clarksville Now News. It was not dispatched to our dispatch. Based on the information Officer Pritchett had that was available to him and the circumstances that were presented during the interaction, Officer Pritchett handled the matter consistent with his training and departmental policy.
Police said in a statement that they had no idea Henderson was the subject of a silver alert during that whole thing. And Tracy, police tell us the officer handled the matter.
Yeah, he had no idea that he was the subject of a silver alert. So he beat him until he found out.
In the way he was trained and in accordance to department policy.
You see just how difficult the decision-making process is, right? In the throes of it all. Thank you so much.
Chief Blumel explained that Henderson was incoherent and presented
Oh, man, the news reporter. I'm not even going to say nothing.
the same indicators as a person under the influence. The arrest documents don't mention any drugs being found at the scene. Despite that, and despite what they were told about Henderson's medical condition, these cops charged Mr. Henderson with 5 offenses: theft by unlawful taking, presumably for getting in the car he was obviously confused about getting in; public intoxication, presumably that's just having dementia while in public; resisting arrest; assault in the 3rd degree of a police officer; and possession of a controlled substance, 1st degree.
Can you believe this? Are you serious? Come on, man. It's a court jester. It's a clown without makeup.
1st offense. The drug is unspecified. Mr. Henderson's wife, Kimberly, told Clarksville Now News that she's grateful for the help that she received from the Clarksville police. Clarksville, not Guthrie. People need to know that the Clarksville Police Department, especially officers Joshua Spain and Jan Salcedo, but others as well, went above and beyond to provide support to our family during this crisis and vigorously searched for George, she said in a statement through their attorney. Unfortunately,
It seems like the other cops were doing it right, but you know, to be fair, they were informed. The other officer was in the dark. You know, I'm not gonna be extra hard. I want to be 100% fair. You know, but the thing is that that doesn't even matter. It's irrelevant. What's relevant is the way he handled the situation, and he handled it pathetically.
Unfortunately, Guthrie Police Department was across state lines abusing George on a gas station floor. Well said. We are deeply upset that the system so miserably failed him in this time of need. That's nothing but gaslighting from the Guthrie police chief. Let's even take the Alzheimer's out of the question. You have a elderly man who looks confused.
Wow.
Okay, the officer doesn't know that there's a silver alert out for this guy. The only allegation against him is he tried to get in the gas station attendant's car,
right,
and had to be forcibly removed from the gas station.
And that just means that he don't know what he's doing. You know, it could mean something else, but it's also in line with a person who's suffering from dementia or Alzheimer's.
Attendant. The officer knew that the man was unarmed. He had already searched him. No weapons were found. He had him down on the ground, face down, and then made the decision to punch this elderly man in the back of the head. The issue of whether that officer committed excessive force is looking at that exact moment that the punch occurred, whether or not there's any immediate safety threat to that police officer. His own body cam footage.
They're saying it don't matter. He's literally saying that the bite is absolutely 100% irrelevant. And this is a lawyer. This is a man that passed the bar, and I'm pretty sure he's beyond a lawyer that just passed the bar. You get what I mean? I think he's a good lawyer, that he's pretty good at what he does because he seems passionate, because he has a channel about it, you know, and he's fighting for our rights, you know, and that's why I'm not really trying to contradict what he says, but I will speak the truth. So if he says anything that I don't believe, I will say so, you know. And the same thing with the cop. There was times where the cop did stuff and I'm like, that's understandable. But what the lawyer is saying is that whether he bit him or not, it happened before he hit him and knocked him unconscious. So what he's saying is the blow was unnecessary because at the time that he rendered him unconscious, the man wasn't hitting him or biting him, rather.
Shows that there was no immediate safety threat, certainly not a serious one. Perhaps the man did bite him earlier. That caused the officer to lose his temper. And in retaliation, to punish the man, he punched him in the back of the head because he was angry.
Right.
And I think
instead of it becoming defense, it becomes retaliation because it's not in the moment.
That's exactly what happened here. That would be unreasonable, and therefore,
listen, man, you guys understand what happened. Big shout out to I want to make sure that the civil rights lawyer. I want to make sure I got it right. And you guys understand what happened. I don't need to keep playing it to the very end. You can catch the rest at his channel. And I mean, it's just too much of that. Like let me tell you something. If I want, I could be here for a year straight showing cases like this. Worse, not as severe, but just violations, maybe in the hundreds of thousands. We're talking about probably billions of dollars in lawsuits and stuff like that. You guys already know, though. But when I see something like that, when I see a man with Alzheimer's get knocked out, you know, even though the cop doesn't know what's the story, that don't matter. Being in the dark doesn't give you the right to enforce abuse and at times, in other cases, you know, unaliving somebody. All right. So, you know, oh man, guys, you know, I definitely want to be positive, you know, but it's not, you don't have to shed light on having fun. You get me? It's not like being happy has to be exposed. You get what I'm saying? You know, and it's not even me like being negative. It's me just wanting it to be a better place and wanting people to be treated better, not abusing power, you know, changing and understanding that I've heard people say stuff like if you don't like me for who I am, then we don't have to be friends. I'm not changing for nobody. It's like, yo, how could you know that we're all imperfect because we're human? You know, I'll never be perfect. I'm always gonna make mistakes. How are you gonna say that if you spot one of those mistakes, you won't change it? That you are who you are? It doesn't make no sense. You know, I want to be the kind of guy that, yeah, even though I'm gonna make mistakes till I pass, because I'm not the second coming, you know, that if I spot one of those mistakes, I'm gonna work on it. You know, people be in their feelings. I seen another episode, right? Definitely check out Here's the Deal. You know, you guys see me watch some of his stuff before with you guys. But what was the episode it was? Oh man, I was gonna talk about an episode. He's another one who fights for our rights. You know, big shout out to Here's the Deal. You know, big shout out to the civil rights lawyer. I'm checking to see if I could remember the Here's the Deal one that you know what? I don't know if you guys seen the Tina Torres thing. I'm gonna play some of it for you. You know, Tina Torres was on Panda Chop, and she said some stuff, and I believe men and women are equals. You know what I'm saying? And I think that we're different, though. I don't think that you know, I think by nature there's definitely, you know, just the strength factor, you know, but I still believe we're equals. You know, I just think that we flourish in different areas. So Panda Chop has on Tina Torres. I'm not 100% sure where she's from, famous wise. I'm wondering if she was making like Lisa type music back in the days, the beginning of freestyle. She talks about how you know, the boogaloo is part of hip hop, and that's like conga drums and you know, Spanish percussion. And she's saying that it's wiggled into it's woven into rap. And I don't disagree with her. You know, a lot of people will get mad, but she says things that are really on point. But then she goes a little too what I, you know, remember, she's not my clone, so she's not gonna say the same thing that I think. You get what I'm saying? So no matter what, listen, people, when you're speaking with a person, eventually you're gonna hit a point where the person's gonna say something and he's gonna shake his head like you get where he's coming from, and you're gonna be thinking in your head like, I don't even understand what you just said. We are not on the same page right there. But that don't mean that y'all can't be friends. You know, as long as it's not like, you gotta be on point. You gotta be on the same page, morality wise. You know, your morals have to be where my morals are in order for us to be friends. But like on theories and philosophies, we don't have to agree. You know, talking about certain things, if you don't agree with me, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? So like when I'm listening to her, a lot of the stuff she says, I get where she's coming from. She starts talking about how Kanye was like actually saying good things, but people were misinterpreting him. So I'm gonna play some of this. I just wanted to talk about it so you guys could get my point of view before I show you what I'm talking about. Now, mind you, this is just facts. If you're not supposed to put numbers on it. You know, it's too much. I'm not with the separatism. You know what I'm saying? Like, I look at it like as one. There's one race, and this is real. You know, I don't even like describing people by their color or their nationality. That Puerto Rican dude, that black dude, like that's to the point. It's like, yo, can it be that human being over there? You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people be like, no, it can't, because people are messed up. And I get where they're coming from too. And I'm not mad at them for being mad. But I'm done. I'm done being like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm about to show the Tina Torres jump off right now on Panda Chop, where she talks about Fat Joe and about whether hip hop was 50-50 Hispanic and black folks. And at the same time, just to be 100% fair, if y'all made me answer the question, I would be on some it definitely leans towards black folks, you know, but yes, Latinos definitely did contribute. You know, how much of it you wanna merit them for? If you wanted to if 60-40 makes a certain party happy, like, it's ridiculous. I don't even want to entertain it like that. I'm just covering it because I'm really on some, like, it's silly to me, you know, and that's why I'm putting it in the light, in the spotlight. You know, we got bigger fish to fry than who was more involved in starting hip hop. And we were all in the trenches together. That's a big fact. There's literally whole Spanish hoods like Bushwick, like Washington Heights, other parts of the Bronx, especially around the time of Fort Apache, the Bronx, the movie, the burnt out buildings. Oh man, you know, and there's, you know, it was Puerto Ricans, I would say Dominicanos and blacks, you know, and there was other cultures too. Back then, if you go back that far, there was Italians in hoods, you know. But anyway, I'm gonna let her break it down, because to be fair, she got it more on Smash than I do by far. So let her explain to you guys. Big shout out to Panda Chop. You already know what it is. I'm gonna leave his link in the description also. Go check out Panda Chop. That's the big thumbs up right there. I'm already subscribed to both of his channels. He got two. So look up the other Panda Chop channel. You know, he's affiliated with Cuban Link, so check out the Cuban Link channel also. And yeah, I'm gonna let you watch some of this.
You got a busy schedule, so I'm glad that you were able to find time to talk to
so I can react
today. All right, first and foremost, Fat Joe versus.
She's highly intelligent, and Panda Chop is highly intelligent also. Yeah, and I didn't think he was gonna even like hit other points when she spoke. I thought he was gonna just let her speak, but he wanted to ask her, because when she said certain things, it made him wonder, and he didn't hesitate to ask her things that he said, yeah, but if it's like that, then, you know, and he did a good job too of rebuttaling in like a light way, so that it didn't come off argumentative. You guys are gonna see it right now. I'm gonna let it play for a second.
Versus the FBA. You know, he called the FBA a bunch of broke N-words and said that they were radical racist. And this comes from, you know, Fat Joe's been saying for the longest time that hip hop was created by blacks and Puerto Ricans 50-50. The FBA has been pushing back on that, saying that no, this is created and found by foundational Black Americans, and Puerto Ricans and other Latinos have contributed along the way, but they were not the inventors, right? So that's the reason why Fat Joe is upset. What did you think about that?
I mean, like I had this conversation with Ralph McDaniels back in like 2017.
For people who don't know who Ralph McDaniels is, because there are people out there who don't know who Ralph McDaniels is, he's the guy who used to host Video Music Box. Video Music Box was out before rap was on the mainstream radio, so literally there wasn't just underground radio stations. There was an underground video show. We would run home to watch Channel 31. People know what it is. And if you wanted to hear cutting edge hip hop, not only would you run home to hear the cutting edge hip hop, to also see the cutting edge hip hop. I remember running home from PS 81 on Minahan to watch Cool G Rap, see if they was gonna be playing Road to the Riches by Cool G Rap. I used to love that. When I was 5 years old, I realized there was a road. At the end, there will be lots of pots of gold. Never took the time, never took a chance to be a millionaire. Listen, I don't even want to destroy it because I don't even know if I'm getting the words right. That one's been a minute. And that's not one that I know his verses from front to back. But yeah, my name is G Rap. I'm on the road to the riches.
And from people that were around at the time, it's really hard to pinpoint and tell who exactly made up hip hop, because was not created by one person. It's
right.
It's a whole energy that takes place that people start to contribute to. It's a pot, and they put their, and then next thing you know, it becomes an organization, and people start to, group themselves into this thing, and that's how it begins to grow. So, when I sat there with Ralph McDaniels, Video Music,
when they ask her to put a number on it, she says, I can't put a number on it, like 50-50 or whatever. Now listen, I don't think it was 50-50. No, I don't think it was an equal contribution. I think it's not even 60-40. You get what I'm saying? Just keeping it 100. If y'all want some sort of number and you force me to put a number on it, it would be black folks higher percentage than Latino folks. Would I say by far? I don't know, because I was young, even at 48 years old. You got to remember, the first time they played a hip hop song on the air was Rapper's Delight in 1979. I was 4 years old. Yeah, but I was sponging it up. So you got to remember, as much as I'm telling you guys I don't remember because I was young, you got to remember that's what I was inhaling. So, like, all I cared about, there's Spanish people that love freestyle. You couldn't pay me to listen to freestyle. And there's a lot of Spanish people that will get on my case. Like, what? You crazy? You don't like TKA? You don't like Johnny O? You don't like Cynthia? Coro, George Lamond? And I would be like them. I know, like, that's not Nas to me. But, to each his own, you know what I'm saying? But I definitely believe if you do it or like a totality thing, black folks have more to do with the creation. There, I said it. You know what? It's like, and you know what's crazy, dude? I just did that just to, it's not that deep. Like, it'd be crazy if people like wanna get mad at somebody to the point of physicality over the percentage. Like, that's bizarre. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, that's me just indulging people. I agree also what she says though also that there is boogaloo in that, and that is conga and Latino percussion inside woven into hip hop. So, you know, you could take that into consideration. Like I said, we were out there together when they used to throw the party in the Bronx, in the park. It wasn't just black folks. There would be Latinos, even though they might have been the minority, you know, in almost all the hoods, we were still there. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't even say we, because that's separatism. We're all human beings. I don't want to do the he's black and I'm Puerto Rican no more. I want to do the me and him are human beings thing.
Music box, he agreed that it was a combination of, you know, multi different people, you know, putting in their 2 cents. He was like, when they were doing what they was doing in the Bronx, Joe Bataan was taking kids into the studio in Spanish Harlem and having them rap on top of Latin soul. This is actually why I call hip hop the bastard child of Latin music, because sonically, what they were hearing in the streets of New York City at the time came from that Latin music. Boogaloo was the combination, the fusion of R&B and soul and Latin rhythms coming.
I'm gonna tell you this though too. You gotta have an open mind with her interview, because she gets deep. And some people might say she gets too deep for their taste. People might say that's exactly what I was thinking, you know, and whatever. But just stay open minded, because remember, nobody thinks exactly alike. We're not clones. So even though she probably might take it somewhere where you're not going to be on the same page, that don't mean cancel out everything.
Together. And this is where I believe hip hop stemmed from. The problem with Boogaloo is that genre was pretty much deaded, because the guys at Fania, when all these Boogaloo bands, these young kids were starting to take gigs, they would take gigs for cheaper than the other salsa bands. So they started to kind of screw up the market. The guys at Fania got jealous, started blacklisting the bands, and the genre just kind of died out. And then from there, that was the late 60s, right? Then from there, and it had lived its time during the 70s. Then from there, hip hop literally is the rising of the ashes from that. And early hip hop, you hear a lot of percussion in there. You hear, you know, certain rhythms, certain sounds, and it's just a melting pot.
Because what people are saying is like,
I wanted to stop it right there too. For people that watch Beat Street, the guy that looks like I forget his name. I don't mean to even say like who he looks like, but the main character, Ramon's the Spanish dude, Lee is the brother. The older guy's name, oh man, he's a DJ. I forget his name. The older brother, the main character, the one that falls in love with Ray Don Chong. Well, but anyway, if you remember when Ray Don Chong goes to get him, they go just before they go to the train station to get Lee. He's doing graffiti. She goes to the house and he's working on something on the DJ equipment, and everything he plays in that moment of Beat Street is Spanish music. You gotta remember, the boogaloo comes on. It sounds like they're saying boogaloo. He's going boogaloo, 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 right? And then he starts talking. He goes uno, dos, tres, uno, dos, tres, cuatro. You get what I'm saying? Like he's literally talking in Spanish. Then the music that drops is literally like salsa music. You know, and a matter of fact, the main character in Beat Street starts dancing salsa while he's like impressing Ray Don Chong. And for people who know Beat Street like that, you know I'm on point right now. You know I'm right on point. So, but anyway, I'm gonna let her keep talking.
These elements existed prior to, you know how they say that hip hop was created in 1973? Like that's really more of like the unification of the elements, right? Like people are saying that this all these elements had existed previously, breakdancing, graffiti, but it wasn't until that time that they really called
we're talking for hundreds, maybe thousands of years that they've existed. So everybody wants to be the.
See, she got a little too deep for me right there, but I'm not mad at her though, and she ain't playing though. She means that, but like that's the part where people be like, is she exaggerating or like that's extra? I couldn't tell you 100%, but she didn't lose me. But I just like that's when I wondered is that correct? For a second. But I'll take her word for it. Let's keep going.
The originator and the creator of something. You know what I mean? But we're all just influenced by something greater.
So are you saying that you agree with Fat Joe that it was 50-50? Or you're just saying you're not sure?
I mean, I'm not.
Listen, I don't think she likes Fat Joe too much.
I'm not gonna put out any numbers. I know, and from the conversations that I've had from just studying the history of the music, from studying Latin music into hip hop, from mambo to hip hop, if you study all of that, you hear the sounds, you're musically in tune, you know what's going on, the history of what was happening in the streets of New York City at that time as well.
She's not lying though about it being woven into the music, but I already spoke on that. I'm not going to speak twice.
You study that history, and then also coupled with, my personal interaction with pioneers in hip hop. So I'm not going to say it's 50-50. I'm not going to put out numbers like that. That's, pretty audacious to say that, but it was a melting pot of people coming in. And I would say,
and I'm sure if you forced, I'm not sure, I'm not going to speak for her, but I have a feeling if you forced an answer out of her, she'd probably I would say it leans toward black folks too. If you're going to go totality, majority. And that's me just keeping it 100, but that's not me taking Latinos out of the equation. You get what I'm saying?
There were even Jews and Italians in there too.
Okay.
She might. I don't know. See, you gotta remember too. Like, it also has to do with age. Like, at 48 years old, I might not be old enough to even verify, remember, or have been alive to talk about any of the stuff she's hitting on at certain times in this interview. When she said that right there, I couldn't say nothing because that's most likely before my time.
And then what did you think about how Joe approached the situation and the way that he said it?
What I want to know is who is letting this guy, what Illuminati master is letting this guy talk about this stuff right now?
All right, I gotta give that a read. And let me just say
what I want to know is
because
who is
listen, Fat Joe been catching heat lately. You know what I'm saying? And people would say, "Oh, the Cat Williams premonition is coming true." It's the year of the exposed. And listen, I don't know that man. I know he has an autistic son like I do. Like I said before, if I said I just showed a video about the police, and I said they're human, they make mistakes. You think I'm not gonna say the same about anybody else? That includes Fat Joe. And let me tell you something. I'm gonna be no, I'm not gonna go there. I don't know the policeman. I don't know Fat Joe. I don't know none of them. Any one of them could be a great guy, and any of them could be a bad guy. But like I said, Joe's been taking a ton of heat in the internet. So I don't want to kick a man while he's down. Enough people are getting at him. I'll just say this, if it is karma, that at certain points in life, you got to learn a lesson. When that lesson comes, if you don't change, when you fall, it's your fault.
Okay. And then what did you think about how Joe approached the situation and the way that he said it?
What I want to know is who is letting this guy, what Illuminati master is letting this guy talk about this stuff right now? Because that's not the agenda of the country. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm like, why is he even talking about this right now? Because we know that right now in America that, you know, it's black supremacists. So
All right, listen. I just wanted to speak real quick about the whole Latino black folks, the whole hip hop thing. Listen, man, that we don't need to let nobody break up any sort of unity. In my opinion, we're all one. That includes everybody globally. It should be the heart should determine who's okay and who's not. And the only people that should be ostracized are people that are evil, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm gonna drop the links in the description for both channels. All right. Go watch the rest of the thing if you the rest of the video if you want at Panda Chop News channel and see the rest of the Tina Torres. There's still 12 minutes I didn't play because I just wanted to hit the topic. And yeah, head over there if you want to see the rest. So I'm gonna stop that real quick. All right. What I was gonna say, right now I can only see the comments. Let me see something. All right, cool. So, but like I was saying, the whole hip hop thing with the Latinos and the black folks who did more, man, that's silly, bro. Don't let that interfere with any unity. You know what I'm saying? We have enough separatism. You know what I'm saying? Age has changed me a lot. You know, I used to be really aggressive, bro. Like I was like out there on some I'm not the one type stuff, and I don't want I'm not with the tough guy stuff no more. I don't want to and I've been not with it. You get what I'm saying? But I'm more so promoting it right now. You know what I'm saying? Cause that's what when I was young, I escaped being unalived on more than one occasion. And I don't want none of the young kids going through what I went through or even worse. Cause I ducked and dodged. I don't know how I made it all the way to 48. And you know, I could tell you stories, bro, but I don't want to do that. You know, I'm not here to story box. I'm here to express art and theories and opinions and show you guys my rap music and the documentaries I create and talk to you guys about collectibles and and whatever the news like you know, just kick it and listen, man, especially to my people that I came up with. You know, y'all people, like, this is the man cave is built for y'all too. Cleveland, Bushwick, Ridgewood, everybody that I've ran into in my life. Or y'all, any of y'all that come hear me for a second and murk off, you welcome to stay. I miss most of y'all, if not all. You know what I'm saying? It's your boy Spank. You know what it is. Ain't nothing changed. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking to all my people from Grover, Cleveland, all my people from Bushwick. And I'm talking about Bushwick High School and Bushwick, the neighborhood. All my people from Bedford-Stuyvesant. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a preference. All my people from Ridgewood that I went to school with in PS 81, IS 93. You know what I'm saying? You know, don't let them put a wedge between us. There might come a time where we need each other more than we think. You know, I'm gonna let y'all go on that too. We don't want to be story boxing too much, man. You know, it's good to talk, but also keep in mind while everybody is doing all this stuff, loose lips sink ships at the same time. I'm gonna let y'all go, man. It's your boy Spankdog. You already know what it is.